we've kind of maybe done things that didn't quite feel right at the time, but we felt we should be doing them, or we felt that we should do things a certain way, or we felt obligation.
Hi everyone, Elle Ballard is here today on the Empowered Global Women in Business podcast with my guest, Marisa Guthrie. Hi Marisa, welcome all the way from UK.
Hi, Al. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. Marissa is a business coach and entrepreneur who helps solopreneurs balance profit and purpose so they can grow their income without compromising their ethics or their well-being. She supports solopreneurs in creating business models that have social justice baked into them, ensuring their work aligns with both their purpose and their financial goals. With nearly 30 years of entrepreneurial experience, Marissa brings deep expertise in building ethical, sustainable businesses that thrive. Welcome again. But how did this birth happen in your that you decided to do business in this area?
So, really good question. And I think for many of us, and for many of us women, it came out of necessity. So, I had been a chief executive of a charity and I was made redundant. And then 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. And that was a real interesting time of my life. And I was pretty unemployable at that stage. And so, really, the business, I mean, I'm going back nearly 17 years ago in this coaching work, but it really grew out of
Wow.
necessity. And the way that it looked then is very, very different to the way that it looks now. But really, that's how it started. And I kind of started thinking, okay, I'm going to call myself a consultant. I've got a ton of experience. I've got a network. I'm just going to, kind of plug into that. And I very quickly realized that I'm not a consultant at my core. I'm definitely a coach. I like to walk alongside people. So it's been through many iterations, my business, but yeah, really, that's the kind of thread that carries its way through.
Nice, nice. Yeah, wonderful. 17 years. Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, and it's like it's interesting, right? Because things don't happen just I believe things happen for a good reason and they happen for us, even though sometimes we don't see it in the moment. And how wonderful that you found that you were pregnant as well and you could take the
Oh,
time to be with a child. It's just wonderful. Um, so, in the 17 years of building your career as a coach and working with so many clients, I'm sure, and seeing the stories and improving their lives, what are some of the lessons that you've have learned on this path that you would share?
so where to start with that? Because there are so many lessons. I think for me, because I focus on working purely with solopreneurs, so one person enterprises, sometimes two, but usually just that one person. For me, what I've learned is that what people want more than ever, they want to feel the connection to their business and they want to feel like they're doing really good work. So the word that's come up a lot for me recently in particular is around sovereignty, is around
Mm,
that person feeling like they are a sovereign individual, meaning not meaning that they are individualistic, because that has a different connotation. That implies a certain level of isolation or ruthlessness, and it really isn't about that. It's just about people wanting to make decisions for their business that mean that they get to do things in the way that they want to and feel good about that, and
I love that.
obviously be able to make money doing that way. Because what I've seen so much, and we'll probably get into it, but that all of us have at some time or another, I'm sure, we've kind of maybe done things that didn't quite feel right at the time, but we felt we should be doing them, or we felt that we should do things a certain way, or we felt obligation. So I think the theme right now, especially with where we are in the world right now, that's running through my work is that people want to be able to turn up as themselves. And from that place, they want to do good work and they want to help people and have an impact, but they really want to be able to do it in a way that ultimately works for them, their well-being, their values, and the people that, rely on their business.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Now that you went deeper and explained, I love that. And it's so timely. I agree with you. And the word that comes to me is authenticity, true authenticity. And I know we use it a lot these days, but really showing up in business. And it's so important because I know it's still this voices in your head. I know that's for me. So it's just really resonating what you're sharing, the shoulds, and
Yes.
we get used to that. We are programmed to follow those, right? And now it's almost we're going the other way. And
Yeah.
I love that because I think it's so important if we follow that sovereignty. We do, well, one, we follow our own path. And two, I think we really can create something magical, something wonderful in the world because we are stepping into it from our own self and uniqueness. And I love that. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that. Yeah. I think is so
And
important.
I just want to say, yeah, and thank you so much. And I think that it's also what you were saying about the shoulds and those obligations and those ways that we think we should do things, and then something just doesn't quite feel right. So it is that authenticity, that sort of more natural way of being, I think is really important rather than trying to follow a blueprint that was never, you were never
Exactly.
kind of invited to write. So yeah.
Love that. Is that something you help your clients with too?
Yes,
To kind
so
of find that.
absolutely. I think,
Hmm.
yeah, and I think for a lot of my clients as well, just like me, so prior to, so as you said when you were introducing me and with my bio, I've been in the world of business for 30 years. I was in the corporate world as well, not for too long, but it's certainly that's where I started out. And I think for a lot of the clients that I work with, most of us have come from some kind of corporate background, and we've seen, what it looks like if you have to follow things a certain way. So we're not,
Hmm.
so what I say to my clients is we're not here to just replicate blueprints that you were never invited to write. We're here for you to write your own, the way that you want to do business.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it resonates so big for me because the whole, the reason the Women of the World Network created also is on that angle of just really showing up as yourself, as your unique self, with everything that, yeah. So thank you for doing that work as well, and coaching others to do that. So I imagine you have your steps that or blueprint that you follow to help people get there.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I very much talk in terms of an ecosystem, and I have my own framework called the Thrive Business Ecosystem, which is it is purely that it's to enable business owners and solopreneurs to thrive and create an ecosystem where all the parts of your business fit together in a really cohesive way. So yes, I talk in terms of ecosystems a lot.
beautiful, beautiful. Love that. And I want to move into talking about your upcoming book. Congratulations! How exciting! And your solo book. And I'm not sure if well, I'm sure actually you're probably speaking about this topic there as well, since your work is
Yes,
focused on it.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
and it's called The
my
Reluctant Capitalist. And yes, please tell us more.
Yeah, so it's interesting because we were talking a little bit before and talking about, yes, this is my first book. And even to say that feels incredibly audacious at this stage, I would say. It's been very scary, but incredibly rewarding. And The Reluctant Capitalist is really speaking to the fact that many of us are we are all in a capitalist system, and we all benefit from that. There are many benefits to the system, but there are also many things that we witness and experience and see that are obviously not working, and that we feel very ambivalent about. So the reluctant part is really trying to name that ambivalence and look at the system and figure out how it can work for you as an individual in doing really great work, and also thinking about how your business can really be here to serve others, to serve the world, to, a lot of the businesses I work with, they're using their businesses to solve big problems out in the world. So really it's about, yeah, kind of meeting that. How do we navigate a system that we don't fully maybe buy into, or at least
Mhm.
not all of the time? And also that it's a system that's been around for a pretty long time at this stage, and we are in a very kind of different phase now with what's going on in the world, and where we're at in terms of a lot of the issues that people and planet are facing right now. So yes, it aims to capture all of that and to talk about how you can thrive within that system, particularly by meeting your own well-being, as well as focusing on having businesses that allow you to rest and to be nurtured and to be nourished, and also to make a profit and support the people that rely on your business. So it's aiming to do quite a lot, Elle.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful. Congratulations. And when is it coming out?
So it's going to be out by probably next summer, but definitely latest by fall 2026.
Beautiful. Congratulations again. And how, if you could share, since we're speaking about the book, and also you could share the information, how our listeners can find you, how they can find about the book as well. And then we'll also post the links in the comments of this conversation as well.
Sure. So the best thing to do is head for my website, which is marisaguthriecoaching.co.uk. But you will also find me as the Reluctant Capitalist on Substack. And that's where I really host my community. And yeah, there's a lot of great stuff going on over there. Substack has been a wonderful platform. So yeah, those are the best two places to find me.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love the angle, and yeah, it's just so resonates. Beautiful. So I want to move into talking about, we are on the Empowered Global Women in Business podcast, and we so far I think we interviewed women from 15 plus countries, and I'm so honored to be able to have these conversations, and I love having these conversations with women from different parts of the world on things that unite us, on things that we go through, and lessons that we learn in building these businesses as women as well. And what does it mean for you to be an empowered global woman in business?
Wow, that's a great question, and I love it. So, as women in business,
Mhm. Mhm.
women per se, we are economically disadvantaged.
Yeah.
Um, and as women in the West, obviously we hold certain privileges as well. I'm a white, able-bodied, straight woman. That means I may still be economically disadvantaged compared to my male counterparts, but I still hold an awful lot of privilege. That privilege has allowed me to start my business. I live in a free country. I live in a country that is at peace, especially with things that are going on at the moment. That's not to be taken for granted. So I think for me about that, when I think of women across the world, and this, what unites us, I think it's about understanding that we must always be checking our privilege and always understanding our privilege in relation to others, while still holding the fact that we are also operating in systems that were probably not designed by us, they were not created by us. And what I see, and especially being a woman of a certain age, I'm in my 50s now, and I see women of all ages, but particularly in this phase of life, doing incredible work. And I see so many opportunities, and I think of generations gone by where we would have probably been dismissed, or there would have been an assumption that we'd kind of passed our best, as it were. Whereas now, for me, there is a potency around the work that I do. There's a potency around the power that I bring to my work. There are things that I'm much braver to do. I don't think I could have published this book even 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I think for me, there's something about coming into this space. Ultimately, for me, it is about the fact that when we rise on a rising tide. We all rise together or we all fall together. And so,
Mm-hmm.
trying to think of how I can be an ally to the women in my community, and also much further afield. It's very interesting to me at the moment. I'm building a lot of networks and allies in the States in particular, and also further afield. So for me, that's the work. It's to recognize and understand that I'm still operating, in an economically disadvantaged way, but with many, many privileges that I have. So what do I do with that privilege? Because it is a responsibility. So yeah, that's a kind of a long-winded answer to your question.
No, yeah, but that's such a beautiful the way you put it. It's a beautiful, beautiful answer. Yeah. I I love that. It's profound. And yeah, and like you said, especially with everything happening in the world with the changes. And so now I'm going to take us to the rapid fire questions.
Excited.
Yes, awesome, awesome. So there are five of them. And my first question, your favorite book name is?
Can we do fiction?
Hmm,
Okay, so my favorite book is The Great Gatsby. Okay.
nice. Summer or winter?
It's probably, I'm a summer baby, so it's probably summer.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Favorite international destination to visit?
Oh, Venice.
Venice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm half Italian, so I feel very
Ah,
much.
makes sense. That's cool. Okay, my final question is things that you have discovered about yourself recently.
I am the most important asset to my business. And that if I do not prioritize myself and I do not prioritize my rest, then that is good for nobody, including all of my clients and my community and my family. So I take much better care of myself now as a result of that.
Beautiful. Yay. I love that. Thank you for playing.
Oh, thank
And
you.
thank you for being on this podcast for our conversation. Congratulations with the book. I am excited for you and I'm excited to read it when it's out. And yeah, and well, I'll see you soon. Thank you so much.